I've got the power to most of your leadership stress. It's this: learning to be proactive. Let's talk about it. Hey, welcome to the Purpose Project podcast. I'm really pumped that you're on here with us today. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your day, whether it's drive time or you're at the gym, maybe you're watching at the office. I'm so honored that you are on here and that you're checking this out with us. We began this journey of the Purpose Project podcast to really just be a tool, to be a coaching tool for so many of us to uncover, discover, and walk out the purpose that God has for us in all of our lives. We all have purpose. God has given us all specific and strategic purpose. And I just want to be a coach. I just want to help you uncover that and walk it out to the fullness of what God has for you. I'm excited to see what God is going to do through this community. If you'd like to help us out at all, I can give you some practical ways that you can do that. I'd love for you to like and review our podcast. I'd love for you to subscribe on whatever platform you listen on. I'd love for you to subscribe to it and even share the podcast on social media. You can tag me, Pastor B Goff, Goff, and I'd love to see those, or even share it with friends, coworkers, family, whoever you think would benefit from this. The more we can get on here, I think the more that we can help people uncover their purpose. So thank you for that. Hey, we're going to continue this series of talks today about the qualities of high capacity leaders. This is where we've been camping out most of the time over the past few weeks. And I want to talk about the qualities of a high capacity leader. Here's what I know about you. You are a leader. I'm a leader. You're a leader. Maybe you're a leader at work. Maybe you're CEO of a company. Maybe you lead a team and manage a store, or maybe you're a supervisor. Maybe you're a stay-at-home mom and you lead your family. Wherever you are, it doesn't matter where you are, you're leading someone. We're all leading someone. So I wanted to look at it and go, okay, if we're all leaders and we all have purpose, what are some qualities of high capacity leaders? And what does that look like? And what do they do? And so we're breaking those down to go, hey, what does that mean? How can I accomplish this? How can I be a part of that in our lives? And let's be real today, okay? Leadership, regardless of what capacity it is. CEO, in my context, I'm a pastor of Radiate Church in South Carolina. I have staff, I have leaders, right? So I'm a pastor, so I lead that organization. Maybe you lead a business and own a business. Maybe it's at home. Leadership can be stressful, right? There's so many things that go into it. Leadership can be stressful. I have a cure for most of your leadership stress, though, and it's this: learning to be proactive. I'm going to give you this cheat code. It's a cheat code to your purpose. I'm going to give you a cheat code not to finding your purpose, but to enjoying your purpose, to make it effective, to make it efficient. Here's a cheat code: stop being reactive. Cut out being reactive. Stop being a reactive, emotional leader and start being a think ahead, proactive leader. In fact, if you're listening to this and you want to be someone your boss is impressed with, all right, so maybe you're listening to this, you're learning how to be a leader, you haven't climbed the corporate ladder, right? You want to be in that role one day. You want to be somebody your boss is impressed with. Learn how to be proactive now, all right? If I'm going to be honest with you, I believe some of the current generations have a hard time being proactive because we've been taught to be reactive and entertained. I want to teach you and challenge you. Learn how to be proactive. Impress your boss, impress your spouse, impress your kids, impress your church, whatever, by being proactive. See the need, make the move. All right? Don't wait on somebody else. Send the email before your team asks for it. Take out the trash before your spouse nags you about it, right? Plan the date before your spouse says you haven't been spending time together, okay? Plan time with your kids before they start saying they never see you anymore. See the need, make the move. Write that down. See the need, make the move. Be proactive in this thing. Reactive people are typically emotional, right? They're typically, and they make decisions based on emotions, and that can be really hard, especially when emotions are high. It doesn't matter if it's a sad emotion, an excited emotion, stressed emotion. When emotions are high, those are the worst times to make decisions. We make emotional decisions. Most reactive people are emotional. They react in the moment based on their feelings and their emotions in that moment. They haven't thought through the consequences. They haven't considered the options. So they're just going off a gut feeling. They're just going off of adrenaline or a serotonin drop or whatever it is in that moment, way more than information, right? And so most reactive people are just super emotional. Sometimes quick decisions need to be made. I get that. Trust me, I'm a leader. I've been doing this for over 24 years. Sometimes fast decisions need to be made. But if you're going to be a leader with purpose, you have to foresee the possibilities and be ready for as much as possible, right? You can't be emotional. You can't, emotional decisions are often wrong decisions, right? Emotions are great indicators, horrible dictators, right? Great indicators of, oh man, maybe there's an issue there. Maybe I need to speak to that person. Maybe this needs to be resaid. Maybe I need to have that conversation. Great indicators, horrible dictators. They because feelings lie a lot of times. Feelings go against logic a lot of times. So stop letting your feelings make your decisions. Let them indicate some things. Don't let them make your decisions for you, right? Reactive people are typically emotional. Reactive people are typically slow. They're slow to decide. They're slow to respond, right? Reactive people can slow down processes and executions, right? Reactive people are, they haven't thought through the scenarios and the circumstances. So the moment that they were just presented with has thrown them off. You can't change up the method. Like you can't mess up my plan. And so when they haven't thought about it and they lead reactively, they're thrown off. They need to process. They have to consider some things. They have to accept it, and then they have to move on it. And it can slow down processes. It can slow down executions. It can slow everything down and become a cog in the wheel of your purpose and execution. Reactions instead of proactions, or being reactive instead of proactive, can really slow your team down. If you're a high-level leader and you lead reactively, I just challenge you, try not to be too slow. Sometimes you need to slow down and think about things, think through things. I get that. But if you're just reactive, most times you're going to slow things down. Reactive people are typically indecisive. That's also why they're also slow. Indecisive. They waffle between decisions that they're making because they're reacting, and it's hard to be decisive and make a decision when you're surprised and all those things. Like I'm reacting to your response. I'm reacting to the situation and circumstance. I'm reacting to the emotion that I feel like you have in the moment. So I'll make a decision, right? But when I don't think you like it, I'll react to that by making another decision. Indecision becomes frustrating to everyone involved, not just your team, not just your bosses. It becomes frustrating to you. You want to make a decision. You want to do what you need to do, but it's really hard to do whenever you're reactive and you're indecisive. Instead of making informed decisions or being honest about their preference, they're reeling from your response and reaction, and they're reeling from the situation in the moment. And so reactive people are usually indecisive. However, proactive people are typically thinking and planning downfield, right? They probably have their schedules blocked out, planned out, figured out, right? Their calendars are spoken for, right? They're the ones that are going to go, well, I got this time on this day available for this meeting, right? Instead of, I don't know, tell me what you got. They probably have their schedules planned out for the next week or more, right? They're probably blocking off time blocks to prepare for upcoming meetings and prepare to leave and get to the meeting in time or get there early. Their proactive leaders are those that think through the details and the execution before the event or the moment ever arrives. Now, I'm going to be real. Being proactive is something you can learn. I'll tell you a story in a moment. But you have to learn how to think and plan ahead of time, downfield. Plan your day so your day doesn't destroy you. Proactive people learn how to do that. Here's what proactive people also do. They plan for where they're going, not where they are. They lead and plan for where they're going, not where they are. Proactive leaders typically realize that what got them here won't get them there. They're planning with vision, with passion, with purpose, right? For what's to come. Not where they're at, not to manage where they are, not to maintain what they've accomplished, but to get somewhere new, somewhere greater, somewhere bigger, somewhere else that God's called them to be. Proactive leaders learn how to think and how to carry themselves at the next level before they've ever even arrived there. Proactive leaders are going, okay, what does it look like to lead at that level? How should I carry myself when I'm at that level? How do I manage my time at that level and steward my energy and my health at that level, right? Proactive leaders are planning for where they're going, not for where they are. Here's another thought. Proactive leaders aren't caught off guard. Now, I'm going to say that, and I'm also going to acknowledge sometimes things just come out of the blue. Things just happen, right? But proactive leaders typically have thought through the scenarios, the consequences, and the decisions of the moments and the events that every decision has. They don't just make a decision and move on. They make a decision and they thought through it. There's always unexpected things that are going to pop up every single time. And no matter how prepared you are, that stuff's going to happen. But the more proactive you are, the less you're caught off guard by those moments. You're going, okay, I've predetermined my time, my health, my energy. I've predetermined all this stuff because I'm proactive. I'm planning in advance. I'm preparing with vision. I'm prepared for where I'm going, not where I am. This is out of left field. I didn't think this was coming, but I'm not going to stress about it because I'm pre-planned. Like I can take the time to think through this thing. You're ready. You're prepared. You're expecting the best of your ability, right? Now, proactive and reactive are two different types of leaders. And I'm going to be honest, I've been leading for over 24 years in the capacity that I'm in ministry. And the truth is, I haven't always been a proactive leader. In fact, I'm an emotional leader. One of my strengths is I'm an emotional leader. And one of my weaknesses is I'm an emotional leader. And here's why. Because emotional leaders can become reactive, right? And so it causes you to react the wrong way, maybe get an attitude when you shouldn't, maybe respond in ways that aren't uplifting, all those things, right? So I have learned over the years, I've taught myself to be proactive. I've gone to mentors and other leaders and gone, hey, you're proactive. How do I do this? What does this look like? How do I plan my calendar? How do I carry myself? How do I budget this? How do I take care of my health? How do I not leave my family behind in the pursuit of purpose, right? All these things. And I've learned to be the person that my calendar speaks for me, right? Sorry, I can't do that. I don't have the margin because I'm already planned out a month in advance or whatever. In fact, one of my responsibilities as the key leader at our church, as the lead pastor of our church, is stage communication. And so I speak so many times a year and I make sure I do that. But every year I take a week and I go off and I plan the next year's content. That doesn't mean I write every sermon word for word. It means I know where I'm going. I know the topics I'm going to cover in that series, and we're going to walk this out together. I do it for a year. Why? Because I don't want to reaction. I don't want to be reactive to it. I want to be proactive. Hey, God, where are you taking us in this season? I believe when you learn how to be proactive, we're teaching ourselves to see the need and the opportunities before they come. We're preparing ourselves for success. We're saving money for the expense before the expense comes. We're learning about our job responsibilities before we get the promotion. We're trusting God for things when things are good, not just when things are bad. Proactive people aren't usually externally motivated, right? They're internally motivated. So the circumstances around me don't change my decision. They don't change my plan. The circumstances around me, I've already planned it. I'm proactive. I know that they're there. Let's keep going. Proactive people are drivers, they're grinders, they're movers and shakers. They learn to do what needs to be done for maximum impact before someone has to tell them what to do. They know how to do this. Proactive people are difference makers a lot of times. Now, that doesn't mean if you're not proactive and don't learn how to do this greatly that you're not going to make an impact. I'm just telling you how to cut a lot of the stress out of your leadership. Be proactive. Learn what that looks like. This week, take some time to figure out what kind of person you are. Reactive, proactive. What can you do to maybe become more proactive? Do you need to work on your scheduling, on your calendar? Do you need to work on planning ahead and working with vision? Do you need to work on communicating in advance? Do you need to work on your budget? What about work? Do you need to see the communication and do it before your team asks? What do you need to do to be more proactive? Find that out this week and begin working on that plan. Now, next week, we're going to talk about the power of stubbornness. Man, that's one I can really talk about. The power of stubbornness. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to remember this. You matter to me. You matter to God. We say this every week. You have purpose, and you're going to change the world. So let's get after it. I'll see you next week.